We're going to talk to a former Oriole who's now on the other side of things this week, and we don't like that, but we like him. You remember the success that he found in the Orioles bullpen, now a Boston Red Sox. It's a pleasure to welcome back to the program Danny Coulombe, who is with us here on GCR. Danny, it's Glenn. It's great to catch up with you again. Ken Zales, Drew Forrester are here with us today. Thank you for taking the time for us as always, man.
Yeah, of course, guys. It's always good to catch up.
Dude, it's great to catch up with you. Can you tell me how difficult life is as a reliever? And obviously, you've been doing this for a really long time. But, like, where it almost doesn't matter how successful you are or how much a team wants you because, like, in 3 months, they're just going to say, heck, go somewhere else. You got a family. You got things you're trying to do. How difficult is the life of even a successful middle-inning reliever?
Yeah, you see a lot of, not many relievers get the opportunity to be with the team, for multiple years. You're kind of like a journeyman, right? You get the opportunity just to, bounce from place to place. There's not a lot of stability. There's a lot of stress, but honestly, like, it's also like I get to play in the big leagues, so it's a dream for most kids. So I'm not going to complain about it.
That's a fair point. Like the trade-off is probably worth it.
Absolutely, yeah.
So, pitching is different now these days, and I want to know from a pitcher standpoint, what's up with this ABS? Like, are we a fan of it? Do you have to do more scouting about what kind of umpire we have today? And are they going to, am I going to be ABS'd out of a strike or a ball every other pitch? Like, does it change anything that pitchers do on a day-to-day basis?
I think for me specifically, the backdoor two seam was always a pitch I like to throw to lefties. Mm-hmm. And, you can kind of work the umpire a little bit out there. Like if you throw it, it's coming back towards the plate and you execute it. Like even if it's a ball, you usually get that call. It's just not the case anymore. And if you do get the call, you can challenge it. It actually happened to Sonny Gray the other day, and it was like the perfect backdoor two seams. Umpire called it, challenge, it's a ball. And then the next pitch, he threw the same exact pitch, and it was a strike. And he struck him out. But, I think the biggest thing that I've noticed is, especially a lot of the young guys coming into the league now, like, they know their strike zone so well. And so, like, the chase percentages are way lower for the young guys. I think that's, like, it's just part of the game. Like, your zone doesn't change anymore for these guys. So now they can really practice of, like, hey, that's a strike, that's a ball, and they just know it well. And so as a pitcher, you need to adjust and, be in the zone even more. And, but yeah, that's what I think has been the biggest difference.
Do you want more of it, or do you want it to go away? Like, you're in charge. They say the robots call the balls and strikes, or we get rid of ABS altogether. Which way are you going?
I think the way it is right now, the challenge system is great because the borderline call is now like, early in a game, guys don't want to lose a challenge where they were like, I think that was a ball or I think that was a strike, but I don't want to challenge it. So I think it's good the way it is. I think if you went completely ABS, our umpires are pretty dang good. Like most of them are pretty dang good. So it's I think, in my opinion, I think it's good with the way it is right now.
Think of maybe one umpire at first base last night that wasn't so good, Danny. Gunnar was safe. He was.
Nope. He was definitely out. They called him out. So
yeah, they called him out. All right.
Hey, Danny, do you have a new appreciation or has your perspective changed about pitching in Fenway? Obviously, you haven't been there for long, but you were there as a visitor, and now you're there, as the home guy. Has your appreciation for that, how hard it is to pitch in that ballpark, changed?
It's an awesome ballpark. It really is, like just the history of it. I was on the IL a few weeks ago, and the team was on the road, and I actually took one of the tours. So I learned a lot of the stuff about the history of it, and so there's an appreciation for that. But pitching there, you have one side of the field because to right field, the ball really you've got to get it to have it go. It's kind of like how Camden a few years ago before they moved the walls back in, like you had left field. It kind of feels similar. Where the ball obviously to the left field here, it goes, and you got to make sure you make pitches there. But having one side of the field to pitch to really is good. But yeah, I mean it's definitely it steers toward hitters, but as long as you execute pitches, you'll be fine.
He is Danny Coulombe, Red Sox former Oriole, with us here on GCR. Danny, I wonder too. Like the other part of the difficulty of being a reliever is that I go and we're fans here. We've been fans. You are outstanding as an Oriole. And then I go to check in on your numbers, and I'm like, oh boy, it looks like Danny's having a rough season. And then I actually dive in and I see, oh, there were 2 outings, like 2, where something went wrong. And because of that, now everyone says like, oh, Danny Coulombe's numbers are no good. He might not be good anymore. Like how much is it difficult? I guess deep in your career, you probably don't have it affect you the same way. I'm going to assume that you get over that a lot quicker and you don't worry about it. But how crazy is that for a reliever that one pitch can alter the way that everyone feels about the season you're having because it can that dramatically change the numbers that doofuses like us go to look at?
It's so true. I think some of the best advice I got early on in my career from actually a guy named JP Howell, who pitched in the big leagues for a long time. He told me, hey, like take your outings in 5 outing increments. So like take your season in 5 outing increments. And, out of all those, if you can be good in 4 or 5, like that's kind of the goal of the reliever, right? And so like, I think that has really helped me give me more perspective of like, yeah, like you're not going to be perfect. And there's a lot of things that like, you can make a good pitch. You can make a good pitch, or you could leave guys on base and they get something happens and they score, and there's just a lot you can't control. So if you can like execute pitches 4 out of 5, be good, like that's a really good major league reliever. So yeah, that's kind of how I take my season. And also too, like I think for me, as long as I'm executing pitches in the zone, like that's all you could like. I don't like walking guys, and so when you're walking guys and you're spraying balls like that, that's when it really affects you. But like if you're in the zone, you give a few hits, like that's baseball. There's nothing you can really do about that.
It's a fact. That's the way that the sport works. I wanted to ask you about Drew French, right? Because I think about 2024, and you were basically unhittable. And you had obviously had a really good season in 2023, so I'm not trying to suggest that Drew French was, like, responsible for it. But the Orioles made a change. They kept him around. He was the only one that stuck through a managerial change, and you normally don't see that. Can you tell me about your experiences with Drew? All of a sudden, the last couple of weeks, the Orioles pitchers have all been brilliant of late. What did you learn about him, and why do you think it is that the Orioles were so interested in prioritizing keeping him around after making a managerial change?
Yeah, Drew French is a great pitching coach. I really enjoyed my time with him. He, not only is he like, he knows his stuff, but also like, I feel like probably in the big league level, one of the biggest things is like, you're kind of a psychologist as well, right? Like this game will drive you insane. And I thought Frenchie was just a great job of like being the same guy every single day, like, pumping your tires when you need it, like, letting you have it if you need to hear that. He was not afraid of those things. And so like he's very good at like understanding that each player is different and they react differently to certain things, and just knowing that and doing really well at that. And so like, yeah, I'm not surprised that the team's been pitching well lately. I mean, he's a great pitching coach along with Glassmeyer. He knows his stuff. I mean, it's a good pitching group over there. And, Ryan Clemick is still one of my best friends I've made in baseball. So, we don't talk much during the season, but in the off season, we'll talk, fantasy football and life outside of baseball in a lot of ways. But, man, I have a great appreciation for all those guys over there.
You guys went through, obviously, a very difficult start to the season, right? I know things have been better since then, but we always talk about the Orioles went through it a year ago where they fired their manager early on in the year. Like, what does that do? A lot of people say, hey, it provides a wake-up call to the guys, but then I kind of joke about it and say, I don't know, I'm going to guess that you guys wanted to succeed before the manager got fired. I don't think suddenly the manager gets fired and, well, now maybe we should try to play better. But what is the impact of something like that on a baseball team?
Yeah, I mean, it just affects every guy differently. Guys that have been with AC for a long time, it was really hard because, not only was he a great manager, but he was like, he did a lot of things that the media never caught that like are just incredible, just testaments to his character and the way that he treated people. And so, it was hard. Like for me, my perspective was like, I came in like 2 weeks left of spring training. I've been there for a month, so I didn't have like a great a long-standing relationship with AC. But like, So I understand it from that aspect, but no, like it really is, it affects all the guys differently. Like, young guys, old guys. I mean, it was interesting, especially the way it all happened, was just kind of after we won. I think we won like 17-1 that day.
It
and
was
we're,
here. Yeah, we
all
remember.
kinda like,
We remember it very
yeah,
well.
yeah.
I was in the ballpark.
Yeah, and we were fired up, and then all of a sudden you get all this news, and so yeah, it was definitely interesting. I know. Actually, I definitely talked to a few of the guys with the Orioles about it because they obviously went through it last year and how it affected the team with Hyder, and yeah, it's just not that I didn't really have any opinion of it because I hadn't been there very long, but no, it was definitely a unique situation.
Can you? I
There's
obviously
no Bostonese, by the way, in his voice. None.
It takes a little bit longer,
say
right?
say
I'm not
car.
quite there yet.
Not there yet.
Harvard Yard.
Not quite there yet.
Yeah, right.
That's right.
Still pronounces as ours. Actually, the manager of the Orioles sounds way more like he's from Boston than.
Yeah, I've noticed my 7-year-old started to pick up that accent. It's pretty funny.
Wait, really?
That's funny.
Yeah. He said something the other day, and I was like, "Hey, man, like we've been in Boston now for 3 weeks, starting to pick up the language, huh?" Pretty funny.
That's so wild, man. Hey, I'm gonna guess. It's funny because you've been on a bunch of teams, he's been on a bunch of teams, but I don't think you guys are ever on the same team at the same time. You can tell me if I'm wrong, but from afar, what Rico Garcia has done, Ken was talking about a minute ago. This to me is one of the most insane things, and it's a testament. This was a guy that was completely out of baseball, and now he's the most reliable reliever on the team. He's closing with Ryan Helsley out. Can you speak to how incredible this is? And have you known Rico or known somebody who knew Rico at all during your paths in baseball?
I've never crossed paths with Rico, but I mean, I keep tabs on how the relievers are doing around the league, and he's really popped. And I mean, last night is the first time I've seen him pitch in person. And that curveball's real. I mean, that was a real pitch. And I always get excited for guys that have kind of been journeymen and really established themselves in the big leagues because it's so hard. This game is so hard, especially as a reliever. Like we kind of talked about earlier, it's 1 or 2 outings can really skew everything. And so yeah, it's a day by day thing. But I think for guys like that, I'm fired up for him. And it sounds like, I mean, talking to some of the players I knew yesterday, they said he's a great guy. And so, he's easy to root for. So yeah, hopefully he can keep doing well, just not against us.
Yeah, we're hoping for the exact opposite thing, but yeah, we get it. We completely understand it. Danny, it's funny because I know what you're going to say is, hey man, I think the Red Sox are going to be good, and that's where I intend to be, and I intend for us to win. But we were talking beforehand, we would all be in favor of, if it doesn't go that way for the Red Sox, that the Orioles would consider bringing back Danny Coulombe. Are you at a place in your life where wherever you show up, it's not weird? It's just, this is who I pitch for now. There's no emotions almost whatsoever other than the team that is currently paying you your paycheck?
Yeah. I mean, I grew up an Arizona Diamondbacks fan. And so I think a lot of people are like, so what team are you going to root for after I'm done? And I'm like, I really don't know. I think I'm just a baseball fan now. And I really don't know what I'm going to do as long as that goes. But yeah, I think that it's been wild. It's been a wild career of, I think when I tell the young guys on their team, what year did you debut? And I'm like, 2014. Right. And they're like, with what team? I'm like, the Dodgers. And they're like, wow, that's crazy. I was talking to Marcelo Mayer the other day, and he's 23 years old. And I was like, where were you in 2014? And he was like, oh, I was 9.
Yeah.
And you're like, that's just so crazy. Yeah. But no, it's just looking back on it, man, it's just been, I've definitely had a unique career with a lot of moving pieces, but man, it's just been such a blessing, and I wouldn't change it for a thing.
Do you start to get that itch of I don't know how many years might be left, I really like to be winning a World Series? Do you start to have those feelings at all?
Absolutely. Yeah. I think that at this point in my career, I think that's really number one. That's the priority, is that's the one thing I haven't accomplished in my career, is getting to pitch deep in the postseason. And, watching some of my teammates with the Twins in the postseason last year, especially Louis Varland getting to pitch in the World Series and all that. I'm like, man, that would be a pretty special thing to do. So yeah, I don't know what the future holds this year or whatever, but like hopefully it is with the Red Sox. But I think that that's really number one priority for me.
All right, I always like to throw these types of questions at guys that have been around for a little while. As I was poking around today, I found out that David Simon, the legendary creator of The Wire, has tweeted about you multiple times, which to me it's crazy. Like, it's a crazy thought. And it makes me wonder, what's maybe the most surreal thing that has occurred in your life because of baseball? Like someone that you found out was a fan of yours, or you were able to meet, or something like that, like this sort of pinch me moment, like I can't believe this is my life. What's maybe the one that stands out to you that's happened because of baseball?
I remember specifically in the 2004 World Series when when the Red Sox won it, getting to watch Big Papi play, and I think he was one of my he was one of my favorite players growing up. Him and I loved Johan Santana. Those were my two favorite players.
Okay.
And so to get to meet Johan Santana with the Twins, and then honestly getting to talk curveballs with Sandy Koufax and Clayton Kershaw with the Dodgers.
It's pretty good.
That's pretty special. And then getting to face Big Papi, before he retired his last year. I mean, I look back on that and I'm like, man, like what a awesome opportunity to get to meet the people that like I grew up like, man, like I loved this game so much as a kid, and now like I actually get to like compete against those guys and get to meet these guys. And so I think for me, it's just like, man, I've been around a lot now, and I've gotten to meet a lot of really just like awesome teammates and guys that like I'm like, man, like Hall of Famers. It's been pretty special.
I everything about that, man. Like just that, it kind of gives me goosebumps thinking about like you're just talking to Sandy Koufax about curveballs.
Yeah,
cool
it was during spring training. It was during spring training, and Koufax and Kershaw were talking about curveballs, and they called me over like, hey, so show me how you hold yours. And I'm like, no, you should be showing me how you hold yours.
That's awesome.
But no, that was a pretty special moment.
Danny Coulombe, we will root for maybe there to be one more run in orange and black for you.
Well, I hope he strikes out this side tonight for the Red Sox
in a
7-1 Orioles
exactly
win.
Right. Exactly.
Danny, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Danny, always appreciate you, man. Thank you for taking the time for us. Continued success whenever you're not playing the Baltimore Orioles.
I appreciate you guys.